welcome back to the Who's Your Band podcast. How are you, Sean Morton?
Jeffrey, I am absolutely wonderful today.
No, I am wonderful today, because I'm wonderful today as well.
You didn't walk past the mirror?
Yes.
Oh.
We welcome an old friend in, a good old friend of ours, comic Davin Rosenblatt.
Hi,
How are
fellas.
you, Davin?
Thank you for having me in this on this momentous occasion when so much is going on. I appreciate you guys squeezing me in. I know you guys have such hectic lifestyles now.
What have you been doing to keep busy?
What have I been doing? I've been writing, trying to get my book going, the podcast, trying to do this online comedy thing, charity work. I've actually been pretty busy. Not making much money, but I'm busy.
I hear you.
What's this book going to be about?
About scamming. You guys know how I deal with how I go get after all those scammers and educate people and all that stuff. So I'm going to talk about how I got into it, some stories about that, some education. Because originally, before all this wonderful COVID-19 hit, I was going to be going to places to lecture about it and do speaking arrangements. But much like our comedy career, that has to be put on hold. So I'm trying to put it in a book, but it's hard. It's hard to sit there and write, and I got to do research, find out all this, because I've been doing this stuff since 2012. So I have to go back and try to listen to old shows and find old conversations about how I got into that world.
You know, one of the reasons I love listening to your show, and I actually do listen to your show, which is great.
Oh, thank you.
It's different. You know, of course you have the comedic aspect when you have Joe on and Pip and all that. But, when you start doing something different as a comedian, I always look at it as a different level of respect, because it's so easy to just get on here and just berate each other and expect people to listen to that for an hour.
You mean what we did right before the show?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
And we'll do more of that later on. Don't worry about
Yay.
that. But it's great because it's refreshing. It's different. And I love how you berate scammers. I absolutely love when you get to call them on their shit. Oh, it's absolutely amazing.
Thank you, pal. I appreciate that.
Really do.
Hey, Davin, tell us a little bit about your show, Davin's Den.
Well, it's God, we've been doing this since 2011. Started on terrestrial radio, went to Anthony Cumia's personal studio in his home for a while. Anthony, of course, of Opie and Anthony fame, and now of his own studio, the Compound Network. So I've been doing that. Then I have my co-host Joe Curry, who's a comedian who you gentlemen know, and is also a big music fan, as we all are. And Pip Helix, who I met when she started comedy and I started comedy. And so the first part of it's a 3-hour show. It's really a radio show, since we've been on radio and then we've been on the internet and we've been nationally syndicated and done everything. So the first part of the show is just, kind of catching up with everybody, see what everybody's up to, which was a lot easier to do when we all had lives instead of being trapped in our homes. That was a lot more interesting. And then second part's like current events, games, and the third part is kind of like what Sean was talking about. Right now, we're doing a lot of stuff with scamming the scammers, these internet scammers. Find me online as they find everybody.
Give us an example of what do you mean scamming scammers? What are you doing? Like, how do you expose these scammers? And what was the last scammer you exposed, or one that everyone should really be aware of?
Well, I mean, there actually is one where we made big headlines on it. I mean, that one. Do you want me to tell you about that one?
Sure.
No, tell us about it. Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
All right. So one of my so basically, what I deal with mostly, not exclusively though, is romance scammers. We all see them. They come online. They want you to fall in love with them immediately. Listen, I love somebody who falls in love with me within 5 minutes. It means I don't have to put anything in their drink. So it makes me happy. But, obviously I know what they're up to, but I can't let them know what I'm up to. So I go along with it and create fantastic scenarios. The one that we're doing on the air right now, which is not the one I'll tell you about in a second. One we're doing on the air right now, besides being a comic, because they always find me, it's Davin Comedy. I'm also a Ghostbuster.
Okay.
Like you put down in your description that you're a real life Ghostbuster.
No, I told her, and I tell her about all these Ghostbusting adventures.
We had a Ghostbuster. We had Greg Loigren. He's a Ghostbuster now.
That's true. That's right. Him and Rich Carucci are doing that show.
That's correct. Hey,
wow,
so you've been doing comedy for over 20 years, huh?
Yeah, man, I'm old.
Yeah. What's some of your favorite places to play?
Any place at this point. Well, you know what? Listen, I'm trying to think. There's so many clubs, but I have clubs, firehouses. I was supposed to be doing a run next week in Nevada, the Laughlin Casino, Edgewater Casino. There's a lot. I like the Comedy Works in Bristol.
Me too.
Rockwell's in Westchester is nice.
Yep.
Supposed to be there next week.
Yeah, we're all supposed to be a lot of places. I don't even look at my calendar anymore because it just depresses me.
Yeah.
I didn't delete any gigs yet, so every day when a gig pops up and it says I'm supposed to be there, and then I get the traffic alerts too, and it says, "Hey, traffic's really light getting to Hawthorne, New Jersey tonight." I'm like, great.
From to Rockwell, so it'll take you 15 minutes now.
Right. It's crazy. So real quick, the one we were famous for. So one of my scammers posed as this girl, Juliana Avalos. Juliana Avalos was a half-ass model in Miami. Okay, so that's who the scammer, because they steal people's ID. But it seemed a little fishy to us. So Juliana Avalos was featured on 2020. Actually, Chris Cuomo did the story. Now he's on CNN. And that didn't seem right. So a year later, we discovered that interview and we talked about it on the air. The next day, that interview disappeared from ABC's 2020. There was something wrong about Juliana Avalos. So, and I was kind of onto her, and I was gathering evidence because they were admitting that they were working with scammers. Her and her boyfriend had this. So I was collecting all this evidence. And then it came out that she was the lead plaintiff in a lawsuit against Match.com. It was front page news, Daily News, New York Post, Fox News. Everybody was covering it. But I had the scoop that she was really working with scammers. And at first they wouldn't talk to me because I was a comedian. But then I started to make a little headway. We started to get some traction in the newspapers. And because of that work, she pulled out of the lawsuit. She went away from the law. Yeah, she went away from the lawsuit. And then later on, I actually found somebody who was actually scammed himself by Juliana Avalos. So not only was she working with scammers, she was actually scamming people herself. So I uncovered all that. And then like a year or two ago, her boyfriend Craig and her were, when cryptocurrency was huge, it's still big, they were doing something called BitConnect, which turned out to be a Ponzi scheme. Our government shut that down. And because of all the research that I had online, I still have it online, I was getting emails from people that like I saved them thousands and thousands of dollars from investing with Craig Grant and Avalos because of all the research I had done. So it actually worked on many levels, and not to blow it out of proportion more than it is, but there were people that were suicidal that I was helping dealing with Avalos and the scams. So it's kind of weird because now we're going to talk about what we love, music, and it's so much, and it brings so much joy. But it's kind of weird that somebody who's a comic and tries to bring joy is dealing on this other dark side of things. So to go to Sean's point, it is a little different for what we normally do.
Now, before we get into talking music, just one last question about that. Were you ever scammed yourself?
Was I ever scammed myself? There was an SEO company. You know, SEO tries to move you up on like Google and all. They try to move you up in the search engine. They were called Local Splash, and they gave me high pressure sales pitch, and I signed up with them, and it was complete BS. They couldn't deliver what they said and everything. So I kind of did fall for it, and they didn't want to give me my money back, but I kept on fighting, and I fought with my bank and everything. So eventually I never paid them everything. So technically I was scammed, but I did not go quietly into the good night. But I've never fallen for like a romance scammer or a lottery scammer. And it's just probably because my situation and because I'm also a little bit skeptical. I mean, I got a wife. If I didn't have a wife, you know, maybe I would fall for it. But that's probably the closest. And the thing is,
some of them are good.
Well, but anybody could fall for it. I mean, it's not about being dumb. It's really about being naive. So I mean,
that guy Manto Teo. Remember the guy who played for San
Diego?
Teo?
Yeah. He was a linebacker.
Right, and he supposedly fell in love with someone who really didn't even exist.
Well, that's what happens.
Because the guy like Sean Morton on the other side of the computer.
What?
And I am watching with bated breath next Sunday when my girl on 90 Day Fiance confronts her boyfriend Williams that she's never met. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, that's next week?
Oh, it's next week. It's Sunday.
That after the first season.
I know somebody. I know somebody who's in one of these scamming community, anti-scam communities, who's dealt with Usman and Lisa, and they are actually together. A little spoiler alert: they're together, but Usman's in Nigeria,
right?
And she's here currently, but they are married now. and Yolanda, and he told me he does not think Yolanda will ever come to terms that Williams is fake, and he had a very grim prediction about what would happen to Yolanda.
Let me tell you something. There's a video that I haven't seen yet that a friend of mine sent me about Lisa and Osman that says it's in an interview where she tells you the difference between the N-word and the shortened version of the N-word.
Really?
Yes. I'm saving that for later on tonight for dessert. I haven't watched it yet.
I got to tell you, I mean, I know we're here to talk about music, and I really am excited about that. But I talk about 90 Day Fiancé now on my show because I have no life myself, and there's all these relationship issues. So this is right in my wheelhouse. Well, let's be honest. Lisa's a pain in the ass.
And she's not much to look at either.
No. Usman's like, they do the interviews, and Usman's like, yeah, I just want to come to America. It's like the saddest thing.
Davin, let's get into the music a little bit here. And
all right, Jeff.
So your band is Aerosmith, yes?
They are my favorite band.
Yeah, and like you and I don't think it's been canceled yet, but we're supposed to go to a concert.
It has not been canceled yet. 2 dates have been canceled. Ours, which is in August, has not been canceled. And that, of course, is Joan Jett, Poison, Motley Crue, and Def Leppard, which is just a tremendous...
It's postponed till next year.
You know, who can commit to that?
We're going next year.
Well, that's the thing. That they're supposed to announce it June 1st, right. But there's been emails that have been leaked out to people that were sent in error already ahead of time that said that they are postponing the tour until the same time frame next year.
Can you guys commit to that? I can't really commit to that.
I can't. I mean, I just went through a whole thing today with concerts that, I have tickets for about 12 concerts, and some of them were canceled. I bought them through Groupon.
Okay.
And the email comes from Live Nation or Ticketmaster. It says your event's canceled. You go on your account, it's not there. So I email Live Nation, and they go, no, we're not refunding you. We're just letting you know that your event has been canceled. You have to go through Groupon. Now I go through Groupon, and they go, yeah, your event's canceled. We're going to give you credit. I go, no, I want my cash back. And they go, we don't do that.
What?
So now I have money sitting in a Groupon account. And now I'm not talking like $30. I'm talking like $260.
That might be a class action suit.
They're saying they changed their policy due to the COVID crisis.
They can't. I don't know if they can do that in midstream.
It's amazing, but yeah. I'm definitely taking it a little further.
Well, what are the terms of agreement for when you bought the tickets?
I see. What they do is they go through Live Nation, so they're kind of like a middle ground. So instead of buying the ticket through Live Nation, you're going through them to get them a little cheaper. You can talk in $20 one tickets. So if you go on Live Nation, you're still spending $38. So you're saving money. But now it's, look, I can use the stuff on Groupon. Look, I can use some face moisturizing cream. You know what I mean? I can use a massage maybe. It's not that it's going to go to waste, but it's just amazing what they're doing. It's absolutely amazing how and they can get away with it.
I literally got thousands of dollars wrapped up in ticket refunds, which I think what I'm going to do is roll over because they give you the option. Say if you spend $200 on tickets, they'll give you $300 on it. Now I got a couple of $1,000 wrapped up in tickets. So I think what I'll do is I'll do that, and it'll be a better experience, once these shows come about. But let's talk a little bit about Aerosmith, all right?
All right.
So Dan, what brought you into Aerosmith? Like what? I mean, you and I talk music all the time. Okay, that's how we kind of like met, and that's how we kind of bonded. And I thought it was like Kiss who was your band, but I didn't realize it was Aerosmith. So why? Why the great American rock band out of Boston? Why do you go Aerosmith?
I probably got into them on the Permanent Vacation album, which I know is sacrilegious. But honestly, when they were like huge in the 70s, I was like 1. Right. So like, I was a kid of like the 80s music, and MTV was like playing Ragdoll and Dude Looks Like a Lady and Angel all the time. And then of course there was the
great videos.
Yeah, the great videos, great music. And then of course was the Pump album. So I got really into it then. And then a friend of mine gave me copies of cassettes. That's how long ago this was, of like all their like a lot of their 70s stuff. So I got into it that way. But I think that, first of all, you can't listen to Aerosmith and not feel good. At least in my opinion. They got that. There's something about the music combined with the lyrics that Steven Tyler writes that is kind of tongue-in-cheek and sexy and fun. To me, there's a lot of levels going on And in concert, in my mind, and I listen, I love a great concert. There's nobody better consistently than Aerosmith.
I will agree with that. You know, they're not deep. You know what I mean? They're not one of those.
Wait, hold on. What do you mean they're not deep?
They're not. No, I'm talking like lyrically. Like they're not like one of these bands that makes you just go, oh my god, you know, I felt the same exact way. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute. You didn't melt when you heard "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing"?
No, that's the song I hate the most.
Oh, it's horrible.
I hate that song.
No, I get what you're saying. You know, listen, they're not U2. To Sean's point, they're not U2.
Right.
But that's okay.
Yeah, but there's different levels for everything. There's different music for everything. And that's what I love about Aerosmith too. You hit the nail on the head. I went and saw them, and I grew up in the same time frame you did. I found them on the same album you did, and you go backwards. Yeah. But when I saw them live, I saw them with Kiss.
I saw that tour.
And I literally was just like sitting there with my jaw dropped. Like they don't have a bad song when they were doing their live set. You know, I'm granted on the record.
That's out there. They put one of the best sets consistently out there. I think it's funny that both of you guys picked Permanent Vacation album to start getting into Aerosmith, because that really becomes like the turning point for Aerosmith, because the album before, Done with Mirrors, is the album without Joe Perry.
No, that's not true. That's not true. You are incorrect.
No, I'm sorry. That's when he returns.
He returns. Rockin' a Hard Place is the album without Joe Perry. And by the way, a very good album in its own right.
Which one? Rockin' a Hard Place?
Yes.
Is Rockin' a Hard Place. What? Lightning Strikes.
Lightning Strikes? Jailbait?
Yeah, that's Jimmy Crespo playing guitar with them, right?
I understand, but it's a good album.
No, you know, it's better than Night in the Ruts.
Okay. All right.
But when you look at Permanent Vacation, it also signals a change in the sound of Aerosmith. Because I'm a big fan of Aerosmith from the 70s, their influence of the Yardbirds and like that old school, like, hard rock. And this became more of a sign of the times. Like
this is when John Kalodner was in there.
Late 80s, early 90s rock band.
This is when they had John Kalodner and Desmond Child is writing songs for them. Correct. They had to reinvent themselves.
Say again?
No, I just said they had to reinvent themselves.
And they did. And you know what? Even on Permanent Vacation, they did stay true to their old school rock roots by doing a cover of a Beatles song on that one. I'm Down. That's a great
tune.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's their second Beatles cover, because, even though it's the shittiest movie ever made, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, there's a standout in it because their cover of Come Together was, I think, the best song on the album.
I like the cover better than the original, and I like the Beatles. I'm not shitting on the Beatles. I just happen to like the cover.
It's better. A great cover. It's I think it's one of the top covers out. I mean, Sean has done like shows on top cover songs on his 7 o'clock show. But yeah, and then you said you talked about Pump, and Pump is a completely different sound for Aerosmith, because now they're adding horns and more keyboards than they ever have in the past, and that's a Love in an Elevator. And you talk about Deep. Jamie's Got a Gun was a pretty good song, talking about social commentary at the time. And what was that? Oh, Other Side was another song I liked.
But even the songs that are not the singles, Young Lust, Fine, Monkey Off My Back. I mean, those are great rock songs. See, that's the thing about Aerosmith. People go, oh, they sold out. They're doing ballads and everything. Yeah, they released a lot of ballads for their singles. But if you go deeper into the album, the stuff they didn't release, you hear that the band can still rock.
They can rock.
What It Takes for me is one of the best Aerosmith songs.
By the way, that What It Takes was the song with my song with my first serious girlfriend, because we were friggin' fighting all the time. And this is like when it was cassettes. So we were fighting. So I wrote the lyrics to What It Takes by hand, and I had to rewind the cassette. And there's like all these screams, and the end is like, let it go, let it go. And I'm writing down each let it go.
Oh,
shut up. It was
I hate you so much right now.
Oh my God.
Oh, come on. I was high school love, fellas. High school love. I didn't do it yesterday.
Admitting this on this show.
Oh, I can't go one show without going ugh once. I can't do it.
Well, what you just said, What It Takes, you think is one of their best songs. What do you go? I want to rock to What It Takes? No, it's a ballad.
I'm not going to some girl and I'm 16 and saying, "Oh, here, let me just write this out for you because I love you so much." That's
Well,
horrible.
maybe if you had a girl when you were 16, you would have.
I didn't. So I went to an all-boys Catholic high school. That's
So
why.
he wrote it
Alright,
out to one of the guys. That's
Yeah. Thank you.
right.
You know, this is just between you and me, fellers. You know.
No, is it a ballad or is it like a pop song? But I liked was it Crying and Crazy? I thought Crazy was a sweet song.
Crazy's
Well,
a better song than Crying, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. You got to put Amazing in there though. It was like a trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
they
are the
all
ones
have
that Alicia Silverstone in the videos.
Davin, sure. Didn't they also have Alicia Silverstone in the videos?
Yes.
Yes,
And Liv
correct.
Tyler.
Oh, yeah.
And Liv Tyler. That's right. I also think when I think about Aerosmith, and when we sometimes talk about, we do lists of things. When you talk about live albums, I think they may have the best live album ever made, which was what was it, the bootleg one, live bootleg. Because
But was that really live?
Huh?
Was that really live?
Yes, that's what makes it great. You can even hear the fireworks exploding in the background.
Kiss Alive is still the greatest live record of all time.
Which one? Live 1 or Live 2?
1.
Live 1 is notoriously known to have tracks supporting it.
I like that one.
It's completely live.
What about A Little South of Sanity? You like that? That was live.
I like the other one from them. I like I think it's Live at Donington.
That wasn't an official release. What was that? It's like on VHS or something.
And they also have it a lot. They also show that a lot on Access. But I do think there is a CD version of it out.
If there's a CD version, it was only released overseas. Because if it was released here, I'd have it. I have some bootleg albums on CD and cassette, but that has not been released officially over here.
No, but I like the Live at Donington because again, I think it's a quintessential Aerosmith set.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the other thing about Aerosmith is when you look at them, they make their debut in what, 73,
mm-hmm.
and they're you can hear the influence of the Yardbirds in there and the Stones and the Beatles, and the big the thing that really breaks Aerosmith is Dream On. I didn't realize that Steven Tyler wrote that song when he was 18 years old.
You got to remember about Dream On, though. When they first put it out, nobody gave a shit. That song didn't break for a couple of years. Right. They put it out, nobody cared.
Well, the following year, if the album came out in 73,
right?
Okay, because the next year they came out with Get Your Wings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think if I got my history right, no, that for some reason that single did not get a lot of traction.
Which one?
Dream On. Initially, I thought they were already working on their second album by the time Dream On started doing something.
I'm sure it was. Listen, that was a time not like today where like you're going years between albums.
Yeah,
bands were putting out multiple albums a year. Aerosmith was putting out an album a year, and so by the time 74 comes around, so maybe 13 to 16 months go by. Dream On had become big. People wanted more Aerosmith, and then they follow it up with Get Your Wings, and that had Train Kept a Rolling, which was a Yardbird song, and also had Same Old Song and Dance, which was one of my favorite songs.
I think that might be my favorite Aerosmith song, Same Old Song and Dance, which is not a lot of people's favorite Aerosmith song, but there's just something about that.
It's a good groove. It's got a good groove to it.
Yeah,
it's a good groove, and I remember, I think in 75 there was a concert called California Jam, and they put out like a soundtrack of it. I remember getting it, and that was one of the songs that was featured on it. That and Draw the Line, and it was great, man. It was that version of Same Old Song and Dance really sold me.
They still do it well in concert.
What do you think of Pink? The song Pink.
Oh, I thought you were asking me about the artist because I posted about her on my Facebook page a couple of days ago.
Oh, I'm absolutely in love with her, but that's another topic.
Sean's in love with everybody.
What do I think?
She's an amazing artist. She's an absolutely brutally amazing artist.
When concerts come around, you want to see her in concert? I want to see her.
Without question.
All right, we'll go. You and I will go. I'm down.
Question.
Listen, I mean, by the time Pink comes out, it's kind of formulaic. I mean, we kind of know what they're doing. It never and it never really did it for me, but it's Aerosmith, so I still like it, but it's not a go-to song. I'm never jonesing to hear Pink.
Right, exactly.
But,
Yeah.
you know, I still like it because it's Aerosmith, but
I turn it right off. I hate it.
yeah.
Now,
but-
are you one of those fans that likes every single thing that Aerosmith puts out, or do you acknowledge that some of the songs are garbage?
I mean, I listen. I'll tell you that I'm neither. I'm neither. I do like all their music. Obviously, I like some stuff more than others, but they do things that piss me off, where I do call them out. Like the whole thing with Joey Kramer that just went down,
Oh,
where they wouldn't let him play, and then they played, what was it, the Emmys, or what was it, the Grammys, and that was a god awful performance.
it was.
And I called them out on that. So I can't really think of too many songs that they put out where I go, that's hot garbage, because I like pretty much everything. But they do things that piss me off, and
Sure.
it really hurt. I called them out on my show. Like, we have a segment called "You Stink," where like if somebody does something wrong to you or really upsets you. Joe and Pip were shocked that I gave Aerosmith a "You Stink." That's how bad the Joey Kramer Grammys whole charade was. Terrible.
Yeah, that was a horrible situation. Jeff, you aware of what happened?
Yeah, I am, and I want to know what do you guys? Where's that heading? Has anything happened? Has they resolved that? Because didn't he have to audition to come back into the band?
I think he's back. I think he's back in the band. Really, everything's kind of on hiatus right now. But whenever they come back, I would expect Joey Kramer to be part of it. The thing about Joey Kramer seems to be the guy they always crap on, and he comes from an abusive relationship. I think his father was abusive to him, and Steven Tyler's been very verbally abusive to him over the years. And part of that is because before Steven Tyler was Steven Tyler, the lead singer, he was Steven Tallarico, the great drum player. So, you know, you got Steven Tyler, you know, telling Joey what he's doing wrong in Steven's mind all the time. So I feel bad for Joey. He kind of gets crapped on a lot. And, you know, listen, I'm not saying he's the best drummer of all time, but he fits the band. They all fit together very well.
Right.
And if I go and see a concert and I know that an original guy is available and they're not using him, that pisses me off. I said it at the time. Listen, trot Joey Kramer out there. If you need to have a support drummer, do that. Cheap Trick did that at one point. Or have a drummer behind the stage. I don't care. Steven Tyler can't hit the high notes the way that he used to. So they have other singers. They have women on the stage with them. It's okay. I'm paying $300 and flying across the country. Fortunately, I did see the original lineup. But we want to see the guys. They're all alive. That's what makes you guys special. You guys are all alive.
Guns N' Roses did that too with Steven Adler. They brought him out for a couple shows when they would do like 3 or 4 songs, because knowing that he's not playing a 3-hour set.
Yeah, that's kind of sad too, because he really wants it, and they just moved on.
Yeah,
It's hard when these drummers get older. You know, sit there and play like these 3.5 hour sets. Yeah, but that's the thing about Aerosmith. It's one of the few classic rock bands that still have all the original members intact, right? So that's what you want. Unlike Kiss, which this farewell tour is, I mean, I love Kiss, but I wasn't going to go see that without Ace and Peter.
Well, there was a big rumor. There was a big rumor for the last show at the Garden, they were going to bring out Ace and Peter.
That should have been the whole tour, Sean.
They can't pull it off. You have to understand, they cannot pull it off.
Why can't they do what Styx does? They'll have Chuck Pisano. He can't play a whole set, but he comes in and he tours with them, plays 3-4 songs, and then it goes back to the new bass player. The new bass player. He's been in the band for probably 20 years himself. But you know, if Peter and Ace can play a whole show,
Ace, you got to remember too, it's an ego thing. I mean, rock stars have gigantic egos on top of everything. So if you're telling him that listen, you can, we want you to play the tour, can you do it? Well, I don't really know. I mean, like, he would absolutely, me personally, I would never come out to do 3 songs. That's like wheeling out the old guy. You know, I'm looking at Rocky right here. It's like freaking Rocky Balboa. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to go off of that one last fight all the time, and he gets his ass kicked all the time. I don't know. I say that you just go with the original lineup, with their lineup now.
Well, you know who really gets screwed in this whole Kiss thing is Bruce Kulick. What did he do to get kicked out? He was there for some great albums.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
you know, we're bringing back Peter and Ace. Bye, Bruce. What type of crap is that?
Very true. Very, very true.
I don't know,
That's why if Slipknot ever breaks up and they have a reunion tour, you have no idea who they have on tour.
You know,
They're
as
all
long as you're
remixed.
not Foreigner. Foreigner pretty much trots out nobody, but they still call it Foreigner.
I saw them, and there was not even Mick Jones was in the band. There was not one original guy in that band left.
I saw them with Mick Jones. I saw them, was it last year when they were doing with Whitesnake and Bonham?
Yeah, yeah.
So
But that's one of the tickets I had planned to go to this summer was Foreigner, Kansas, and Europe.
oh, wow.
You know? What?
Ugh.
Not a big Europe fan?
I
No.
love Europe.
Yeah.
Love all three of those bands. I was looking forward to that, and that's a good one to go see with the wife. So
Yeah. That's exactly it.
right, it wasn't like I was going with you, Sean. Yeah.
Well, I would take
You know what, Sean? You're one to talk, Sean, because you got a hard on for Mariah Carey. So you got to slow down.
Yeah, I do. You know why? Because right here, it's autographed in person by her.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, were
Like
you-
an angel.
There's a good
Angel.
story that backs up that Mariah Carey autograph.
I waited 5 hours online
And
outside.
how much time did you get to spend with her?
8 seconds.
What was it, like a signing event?
Yeah, she did a signing. You had to go. There's a great comic, Jess Sager,
Mhm.
and she's equally as obsessed with her as I am. So she went out and bought the CDs ahead of time. You get the wristbands, and then you got to go later on that night. I had a
Where was
connection, Sony at Sony Hall in New York, and I have a good friend who works for Sony.
Mhm.
She could not let me cut the line.
Really?
It was in December. I waited 5 hours out, 5.5 hours outside. I didn't have a jacket, and it dropped to like 18 degrees. My friend drove from Brooklyn to bring me a jacket because it was so freaking cold outside.
Why do you have a jacket?
Because I'm a moron. Have you guys just met me?
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, that's what we're saying. You got a lot of balls to go after Jeff for Europe, Kansas, and foreign. And when you got this story,
Well, I'm telling you. But I've said this before. You know, I waited. It was well worth it. I walked inside. I looked her right in the eye, and I
Was
said,
she
"You know what?
pretty?
She is drop dead gorgeous in person."
Did
really.
she smell good?
She did smell good, yes. I said to her, "Do you realize how much I love you?" She goes, "No, tell me." I said, "Words can't tell." And she, and she
What a
That was-
drama.
That
Oh,
was it.
I was such a creep. It was great. It was
That
great.
was it. Do you know how much I love? Words can't tell. Like you don't write for a living. What's wrong with you? If you're
Only
gonna
had 8 seconds, Davin.
it's not like you didn't have 5.5 hours to think about what to say about her.
Valid point.
All right. So let's get back to Aerosmith a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so we covered that with that. I think the last real like hit they had that from original music was it off of Nine Lives, Jaded?
Was Jaded a hit?
I think
Yeah, it was top 40.
yeah, I think it was a hit.
Not a great fan of that song either.
You know, they had stuff from Another Dimension. I don't know if any of that was maybe
I didn't even listen to that album.
it's a good album. There's some good
Is it?
to go back to Sean's point, or maybe it was your point. I apologize. Yes, there's some songs that aren't great on another songs from Another Dimension, but there's also some good tunes on there too. Yeah, maybe Jaded was the last original one off of Nine Lives. Because what they have? What came after Nine Lives?
After
Trying to think.
Nine Lives came was that cover album?
Honkin' on Bobo.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing off of that.
And there was nothing off of Music from Another Dimension either.
So I guess Jaded is.
Yeah.
So
Jaded.
what would you say are your top three, your personal top three favorite Aerosmith albums?
Oh, let's see. Well, I mean, I guess you got to put Rocks in there, right? Rocks. Everybody puts Rocks in there.
Yeah.
You got in my mind.
That was Kurt Cobain's favorite album.
All right, so maybe I'll blow my brains out. I don't know.
Oh, we
Maybe.
can hope and dream, Davin.
Well, after doing this podcast, what's left? You know, maybe I'll utter half a sentence to Mariah Carey and then do it. But that's
Shut up.
And Davin was worried that we weren't going to be busting balls on this.
Exactly.
I wasn't worried. Sean was worried.
There was no problem. This was definitely going to happen.
You know, I mean, so you're not counting greatest hits albums or anything like that.
No.
No.
All right, so it's got to be Rocks, maybe Permanent Vacation, and probably I think the best album if you go all the songs, even the stuff, you know, most people haven't heard of, I think Pump is a damn good album.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is, I'll tell you right now, Davin, I never thought we were a lot alike. Those are my 3 favorite Aerosmith albums.
What about
Really?
The Attic?
It's a great. You asked me my top 3. I got 10 kids. Only 3 get to live. I'm killing 7 kids.
I hate that analogy. And what would you say? What are your top 3 Aerosmith songs? I know very hard to do, but still, if you have to pick 3 that you really enjoy, what are they?
Oh, probably the movie. No, that's an instrumental that they did.
Yes.
Let's see. I like Chip Away the Stone. I like what was the Same Old Song and Dance. What else? I mean, there's so many good songs.
Back in the Saddle?
Nah. I mean, I like it, but it's you know, Mama Kin's a great tune.
Yeah, Mama Kin.
And I hated the Guns N' Roses version.
I didn't hate it.
Oh, I don't know why. I'm gonna go with What It Takes. I love that song, and now I have a vision of Davin writing it to.
Would you like me to do that for you? I could do that.
I may off the air. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
I'm gonna go What It Takes, Sweet Emotion, and
Walk This Way.
No. I'm probably gonna go Love in an Elevator.
Really?
Yeah, because it was one of those songs that just resonated with me as a kid. And I think the MTV part really attributed to that too.
Now, did it resonate because you wouldn't take the stairs? Is that what it was?
You dick. I mean, I agree with you 100%. Pump is you put that up at any rock album from the 90s.
Yeah,
it's right up there.
Well, actually, it came out in '89, but yeah.
You know what I mean. I get confused between 89.
I mean, I know what's kind of weird is like people look at it as like, let's new Aerosmith, but we're going like on 30, 40 years already.
Yeah, bingo.
And for you and I, that's when we got into it. So it has a special place for us.
That was one of my holy grail vinyl albums to find for my vinyl collection before they re-released it. I found it for $3.
Oh, really?
In Hartford, Connecticut. Yep.
So what about you, Jeffrey? What are your 3?
I don't think my 3 are going to really push the needle, but I think my favorite is Train Kept a Rolling. I know it's a cover, but it's something I still would put on to this day and not ever get bored of it. Man, I hate to be like the sappy guy, but there was something about Crazy that I really loved. It had a very almost like a 50s type of sound to me, like a 50s, 60s type of sound. And I really enjoyed that. And then, I don't know, maybe Sweet Emotion.
You know, I've never had a grown man admit that Crazy is one of his favorite songs.
It's true.
Listen, if we're all pouring out our heart here, okay, I might as well get a little sentimental as well. Hey, Davin, switching gears a little bit, me and you, we commiserate over the same thing. What did you think about the Jets draft?
You know, listen,
You're
I thought they had.
Jet fan, I know that.
I thought they had to get a lineman. I don't know anything about this lineman. He's supposedly very big. He supposedly has good feet. You know, I listen. They address needs. I don't know why they got a safety unless he's going to play cornerback.
Well, they're going to cut May. He'll play 1 year, and this guy, he doesn't only play safety. He can play corner. He can play special teams, and most importantly, he could return kicks and punts.
I hope they don't cut Marcus May. I hope they don't do that.
He'll play 1 more year with them, and then they don't need 3 safeties on the team.
No, but this guy might be a cornerback because they need cornerbacks.
He's too small to play as a natural corner, but he can play the free safety.
I mean, you know, with these, I mean, the draft happened a month ago. I mean, you know, I would sound like typical sports guy who gets on and just rants about shit he's never seen before. You know.
Unless when it's the season, then you start flipping out.
Well, yeah, because now I'm seeing shit. You know.
Are you a Gase fan? Do you like Adam Gase?
Do I like Adam Gase? I wasn't enamored with them getting him. I didn't really like that they got him. I certainly have not seen the offensive prowess that we were promised.
Oh, he's a guru.
A guru, yes. Guru. I think that's because he went to India to study with a yogi. I think that's why he's a guru. You know, I'll give him another year. I mean, what are we gonna do? We're not gonna fire him after a year or two. I hope it's better. My expectations are not high. They have a tough schedule. The division's significantly weaker. You gotta see more from the offense this year. You got to use the running back Le'Veon Bell a little bit more. And now they got Frank Gore for whatever's that worth. You have to devise schemes to make sure Sam Darnold can actually stand up. Your general manager refurbished the whole line, so there should be no excuses unless they get decimated by injuries again.
Right. Here's something I want to ask the two of you, both Sean and Davin. Let's go back to comedy for a second. What's the most annoying thing that's ever happened to you while you were on stage? I wonder if I was with you on one of those nights, Davin.
Annoying thing.
I'm trying to say, could something happen when me and you performed one night together?
All right, well, tell me what it is.
Do you remember one night we're in New Jersey?
Okay.
And you're on stage, and the owner of the place is having a conversation, not low, but really loud in the middle of. Now, there's not a ton of people in the place to begin with, and he's occupying a whole table, doing like almost look like his own show. Do you remember that?
Was it something I booked?
No.
Because I've actually had venues where the owner would hold court, you know, during the comedy show. I didn't actually perform on it, but because I wasn't actually at the gigs, but I had produced it, where the owners would hold court and draw all this attention to themselves while the acts are on stage. So that's probably the most annoying thing, because that's somebody who knows better, who has an investment in it, is actively working to sabotage you.
In fact, know what you did? Do you remember this? You not only addressed it from stage, you walked off the stage, went up to the guy, and confronted him at the table.
That sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, it does.
How did it go? I don't remember this. How did it go for us?
It didn't go well.
No?
No. It wasn't our finest night of comedy.
Where was this?
That place, Molly McGuire's, I think it's called.
Oh God.
Who books Molly McGuire's?
That was an Apple show, I think.
Yes.
Oh.
I had a bad instance there too.
Wait a minute. Was that the one with the big square bar?
No, down the basement.
Oh. Yeah, that was now I remember. Jeez, Jeff, I blocked that one out.
Yeah, mine was bad. I had a bad experience there too. I had Carucci was headlining, and I was middling. And I think it was like Joan Weissblatt was hosting. Okay. Who was one of the sweetest people in the world.
Yes.
And she came off, and she was shaken because there was only 8 people in the crowd, and it was 6 drunk 50-year-old women and a couple next to them, and that was it. Ugh. So of course I'm an asshole, and I decided to go. I go after them too, and like he was even like egging me on. Go take care of him. Take care of him. You know, I'm like, all right, fine. So I do whatever I gotta do. And I got off, and then he goes, you went light. I went, huh? He goes, yeah, you're supposed to do 30, you only did 28.
Who said that, Rob?
Yeah. I mean, for 8 people. And it was like one of those train wreck shows, because that place was not really conducive to great comedy.
Well, I wouldn't know. There was never a great amount of people in it when I was
exactly.
there. No, I've done it where it was pretty good. It was me and Rick Adana.
He's a beast.
And I also did it with what was that? What's that girl's? Stacey Kendra. And both those times were actually pretty good shows.
Yeah, I mean, when you and I did it, there just wasn't a lot of people there, and those people came in late. The ones you were talking about, and they were sitting in the back.
That's right.
So, because before that, there was a small group of people that were into the show.
Correct.
But these people, back there. What? Yeah. But these people were so loud and so obnoxious that they were detracting from the enjoyment. Oh yeah. But the staff said it was cool. But I never came back, so I don't know.
I had one of the worst experiences ever, and had one of those comedy god experiences where the comedy gods shine down on you once in a while. We've all had that.
Yep.
I had mouth surgery on a Thursday. I had a crown put in. My crown broke. They put a temporary in. I'm out in Long Island at Governor's on Saturday, and I'm hosting, and there's this really mouthy, just obnoxiously drunk woman sitting in the front. and has her feet on the stage. It's one of the things that I lose my mind with when I work at a small club. I asked her nicely, you please take your feet off the stage. I'm working here. No, I paid a ticket. I could do whatever I want.
Ugh.
And then she just won't stop talking, right? So I go, ma'am, I've asked you nicely. Can you please get your feet off and tone it down a little bit? Everybody's trying to hear. And she just keeps going off and off. And I'm start talking. And now she's talking over me. And people are starting to yell at her. And as she's talking, I feel something move in my mouth. And I go, oh shit, what is this? And my temporary crown fell out while I'm talking. So I pull it out and I go, your voice is so horrible, you're making my fucking teeth fall out. And let me tell you something. I'm not one of those guys who ever says I murdered, I killed, whatever. I have never had a roaring crowd like that in my entire life since then. They went absolutely ballistic. They threw the girl out. And Vic had to follow me after that. Mm-hmm. And he even goes, did you plan that? I said, yeah, I planned on ripping a fucking tooth out of my mouth, you moron.
Well, you know what that means? That means you're a prop comic.
Exactly. Oh my God. Please, let's talk about this real quick, okay?
Okay.
You're doing Zoom comedy now, right? Have you tried it?
Yes.
Okay. Have you subjected yourself to becoming a prop comic like I have?
No. What are you doing?
I realized, I watched it and I said, I want to punch myself in the face because I hate prop comedy. I don't like it.
Okay.
I caught myself doing, hey, I know all the people on the show. So before I start, and I took out the Lysol and I'm spraying my computer. Right. And it got a cheap pop. And I'm like, all right, maybe it works. So then I started doing a whole bit about hoarding. So now I'm on Hoarders, and I pulled out all this stuff that I bought. I'm like, I don't drink, and I'm pulling up 2 bottles of bourbon. I have a peanut allergy, and I pull up 2 bottles of freaking Skippy. And after I watched it afterwards, I'm like, I am vile and disgusting. I fucking hated myself for 2 days after doing this.
You're Muffin Top. You're not Carrot Top, you're Muffin Top.
I hate my friends. Can I tell you, people? I hate my friends.
I'm just honored that you consider me a friend.
I do. Not after today.
You guys are going to see Pink.
I did.
What, you don't, Pink looks like she rocks. You know who else looks like she rocks? Kelly Clarkson.
I have a fantasy about Kelly Clarkson.
You guys are fucked up. I don't get you guys.
Why don't you go see Europe, homo?
I'm going to see Europe. I would love to. The concert got canceled.
Maybe you can sway gently to Carrie.
I can't see the 2 of you.
Pink puts on one of the greatest shows you'll ever see.
Who's next? Taylor Swift? Tell me you guys.
I go see Taylor Swift.
I got a couple of her albums.
You guys stink.
Yeah, I love Taylor Swift.
I hate Taylor Swift.
What, you don't? Do you respect Lady Gaga?
Yes, I seen her in concert.
Oh, so why does Lady Gaga get credit but Pink doesn't?
But she's better than them.
Different.
Yeah, they're different.
Very different.
She's better.
She's more musically. I will say this: I think that Lady Gaga is a better musician and a better songwriter. Mm-hmm. Pink is a better performer. Pink's a better performer.
I don't know. Didn't Lady Gaga do the Super Bowl and come down from the ceiling?
Yeah.
Kelly Clarkson. Ah, God.
I love Kelly Clarkson.
Let me tell you something about Kelly Clarkson. You guys go on a long car ride, as we do in this business, to get from gig to gig. I will tell you something. Kelly Clarkson's greatest hits is a great CD to get you going. Lot of upbeat stuff on it.
I'd rather
it's right on here, buddy. It's right on here.
You have Kelly Clarkson's on your phone.
I have tons of Kelly Clarkson on my phone. Jeff, I'm diverse. Okay, I'm diverse.
Yes, you're very woke.
I have always said that if I ever, God forbid, die in a car accident and they grab my phone, they're going to think I'm a sociopath by looking at the computer.
I'm going to one up you guys.
Give you your phone that's going to give you that away.
Ugh.
What do you think is the most? Because I got a USB cassette player in my car. I have a cassette in my car that I think is the most embarrassing in my cassette player right now. Both take a guess.
Air Supply.
It's a good guess, but no.
I had tickets to see Air Supply, by the way, so no.
Of course you did.
How dare you mock us? How dare you mock us?
Again, the wife.
Whatever.
Right.
The wife.
Yeah, you're all out of love.
My wife lives in Canada. Okay, what would be an embarrassing one that you would have? Like the soundtrack from Glee.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I didn't think about that. This cassette. No, I've never liked Glee, so no. But this cassette is not my cassette. I'm telling you that right now. It's my wife's cassette. but they have a couple songs that I've always liked. It is Wham.
Love Wham.
I love Wham too.
Wham.
It's a little embarrassing, fellas. We're grown men.
I've seen George Michael in concert.
You saw him in a Greyhound bathroom bus station too, didn't you?
Listen, if I did, I would have taken a selfie.
You know what, Jeff? If you did, at least you would have known what to say to him, unlike some people.
That's very true. Very true.
I waited 5 minutes to get into this stall.
On that note, anything you'd like to plug, Davin Rosenblatt?
Let's see. I got a Zoom comedy show on May 30th. You go to laughathomecomedy.com. Tickets will be up there soon. Laughathomecomedy.com and Davin's Den, which you can listen at davincomedy.com, iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher. Hang out at my house. I got nothing to do. I'll tell you all about it.
That's why we got to go. I got a Zoom comedy show myself today.
Look at you. Aren't we so successful all doing shit from our basement?
That's why Jeff put on a collared shirt, you son of a bitch.
You were thinking about that the whole time, right?
The whole goddamn show, I'm saying to myself, why is he wearing a friggin' teal polo shirt? You suck.
You know what's great about Zoom comedy? You don't have to get fully dressed for it. I did my first show without shoes the other day. It was very freeing.
I don't do any shows.
What are you wearing right now? What are you wearing behind? What are you wearing besides that shirt? What do you got on?
Who, me?
Yeah, shorts.
Oh, here's my Metallica shirt. I'll show you. It's my unicorn pajamas.
There you go.
Oh my God.
I don't think he has not put on pants since we've done.
I never wear pants anymore. It's fucking beautiful.
You know what's sad? You're probably right, Jeffrey. And just the other day, he posted online where he was driving his mom around. Wouldn't even put pants on for his mom.
Well, that's with the kind of relationship we have.
That don't count.
That's why she was wearing a mask. She wasn't afraid of COVID. It was shame.
I hate you.
All right.
That was great.
That's the way to end this.
Absolutely.
Davin, thank you so much for coming on, man. It was so much fun. Holy smoke.
Thank you guys for having me. This was good, man. Listen, if we never do comedy again, we should definitely do this on occasion.
I agree.
We're going to be doing comedy again. I got a couple of things in the works that I'll have you guys part of.
I actually just booked my first comedy show post-COVID.
Really?
Yes, February of next year.
Yeah, but you don't know if that's going to go.
Say
between us and whoever listens to this, I think we got something going starting June 6th, and then hopefully beyond that.
Fingers crossed for you guys.
Tell you guys about that, like, when we're done with this. All right.
Very good.
All right, guys. Adam, we are done. Thank you so much, Sean. We have a great week next week. So
we're doing 2 shows next week.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. All right, guys. Thank Davin once again. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, buddy.
Close us out. Good night, everybody.